Hello, everyone. Maybe we'll start here. I'm Thor. You might have seen me before. I was here not too long ago, actually. I think like 2 months ago, talking about Supabase. A lot has happened in those 2 months. Now Supabase is at the formally here, and I'm with ElevenLabs. Have people heard of ElevenLabs? I see someone nodding. That's great. Yeah. Do you want to raise your hands? No? Who hasn't heard of ElevenLabs? Everyone. Oh, that's great. Okay. Some people. That's good. Has anyone used ElevenLabs for anything? Any projects? No? Okay. Cool. So just yeah, people curious what's going on. That's exciting. Okay, I probably need to mute my notifications. Yeah, so one thing that's maybe interesting about ElevenLabs, it's actually a European company. So it's founded by two Polish high school friends, Maciej and Piotr, which is funny because you know, kind of the motivation came out of I don't know if people have seen probably any Polish people here. No, just looking around the room, unlikely. Okay. So if you know, in Poland, sort of the dubbing culture for movies is quite, how do you say, like very bare bones. So generally, they would have one person doing the entire movie. So like all the different personas, all the different well, language would be in Polish, but basically like every person would just be dubbed by one person who's just kind of like not really doing any voice acting or anything, just kind of like reading out the dialogue. And then, you know, the dog comes in and it's the same person like dubbing the dog and everything. So it was kind of founded on sort of the back of that, you know, there isn't any great dubbing sort of for you know, content into Polish. And that's where they were like, okay, maybe we can use AI to sort of fix that. And so basically the mission is to kind of make content basically understandable in any language and any voice. And so where kind of ElevenLabs, you know, first got famous is sort of the voice cloning technology. So you can take any kind of video, you know, with multiple speakers, and basically it goes off, it clones the voices, and then translates that into kind of different content. Now, there's a couple stories actually. This one I quite like. So basically, I think here she was having some issue with her voice, kind of from an illness, and she was having kind of this hearing where she had to, you know, basically present, and so she used ElevenLabs to clone her voice and kind of use that within the hearing, which is quite cool. Now, obviously, you know, cloning voices and, you know, kind of looking at Singapore and you know, the amount of scams that are being run in Singapore, you know, obviously there's inherently, you know, any kind of new technology, there's inherently kind of security risk with that, and there's risk that is kind of being used for, you know, bad things, for scams. And so, you know, obviously we're working on kind of tools that allow you to mitigate that as well. So there's like a voice classifier as well, where you can kind of check if, you know, content might have been generated by an AI voice. But, you know, obviously kind of focusing on more the positives, there's a lot of, you know, use cases that we can kind of apply this to that are quite exciting. So maybe we can go, you know, while I kind of run through this, if you haven't already, can you just go and create an account? So you can just create a free account while we're kind of going through this. And then basically in the end, you want to be able to kind of access the app here and we'll start from there. But until then, so there's a bunch of things, right, that ElevenLabs does. Sort of the general umbrella is kind of AI audio, but in the basic, that's sort of speech synthesis. So taking text and turning that kind of into speech. So that's kind of just an example here. Now, text to speech is kind of one modality that we have. We also have speech to text, which is quite nice. So you can upload kind of a audio file there. If you can upload like a video file as well. So what's maybe I don't know actually what is this?
When you visit a new city.
Okay, so this was like one of the hackathon projects. So we can upload a video or an audio file in actually 99 languages, and it'll transcribe the speech. It's actually surprisingly good at Singlish as well. So you can try that out. So it's just kind of processing the video there. If you want to I've built this like transcription bot using the ElevenLabs API. So what you can do is, let me share. Where's the share? Share. Yeah, so you can just scan that QR code if you want to try that out. So it's basically using the API to, you can just share a video, record a video or an audio speech kind of voice note, and then transcribe it. Yeah, anyone like very good at Singlish who want to come up here and like give it a try? So we have some swag for audience participation. Anyone keen to try? No? My Singlish. I've only been here 6 years. I cannot speak Singlish. Okay. So I guess I'll give the swag to myself. No one? No one want to try? Yes? Okay. Come to the front. We'll give it a try. So there's one Instagram voice. Yeah, just come here. We'll record a voice message. So you just say something very Singlish.
Very Singlish.
Yeah, just okay.
Wait, I can't remember mind blank. Okay.
That's
Hello, relax lah. No, something like that. Okay.
Okay. I don't really know what that meant. Okay, maybe it wasn't close enough, but okay, maybe so it automatically detects the language, so it's kind of an ASR model, so automatic speech recognition. 你会说中文吗？可以说中文吗？
可以啊。
可以啊，我的中文还不好。我是住在新加坡的德国人。OK，住在新加坡差不多6年。Okay, so let's see if my terrible Mandarin. So, so it's interesting now, as you can see, it was actually hallucinating and it was translating it into English, which shouldn't happen. So that's not great. But yeah, if you want to, do you want to try Singlish again?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. This is too chim already lah.
Okay, also no idea what that means. Let's see if it was close. Oh, something happened here. What happened? Okay, we don't know what happened. You see, this is always the demo effects. Okay, I don't know what happened. Okay, anyway, thanks for that. Do you want a t-shirt or you want a cap?
I have a t-shirt.
Yeah, grab. So I think left is like small. Have a look at the sizes. Okay, you can try it out in your own time as well. So it actually is quite good. I think this is just a demo effect. It didn't do enough offerings to the gods. It seems like. Now, where's my, yeah, okay, so we can do speech to text. The voice changer is pretty cool as well. So you can basically speak in kind of your own voice and then change it to another voice. The dubbing I mentioned already. So I don't know if you saw this actually. There is Lex Friedman did an interview with I think Modi, and the dubbing for that interview is actually done with ElevenLabs, which is really cool. So it's basically cloning Modi's voice and then translating it into English, which is really nice. So if you haven't seen that, you can Google that. That's really cool. Another thing we did, if you know Stripe, so I actually came to Singapore with Stripe in 2019. I was working for Stripe at that time. And so we cloned John Collison, who's one of the co-founders and I think the president of Stripe. We cloned his voice.
Dear Stripe community,
now
businesses on Stripe generated 1.4 trillion in total payment volume in 2024, up 38% from the prior year and reaching a scale equivalent to around 1.3% of global GDP. We attribute this year's rapid growth in part to our long-standing investments in building machine learning and artificial intelligence into our products. These bets continue to pay off, increasing revenue for existing customers, encouraging more businesses to switch to Stripe, and helping new companies reach significant scale unprecedentedly quickly. More on all of those points later. Future growth rates will fluctuate. 2024 was an unusually good year, but we're
just kind of to give you some ideas of sort of what's possible with this technology. Another cool thing is you can generate sound effects. So I don't know if you've seen kind of the trend of vibe coding, and everyone's like vibe coding their own like games. Have you seen that? I think Levels started like this flight simulator thing, and then everyone's like kind of vibe coding their own games now. What's really cool is you can do that as well. You can actually even use this kind of to generate like music, sort of. Not that well yet. We're working on dedicated music models as well. But like you could say something like a bustling Taiwanese temple, something like that, right? And then you can generate your sound effects. So basically what it does is it generates kind of a couple different ones. And then I think we need to go here again.
B 学社站正确
一部顺
Okay.
陽康坊大家
我像
Okay, so this is not a great example. I'm very sorry. We probably need to be a bit more specific. What could we do? Like large waves during an ocean storm, something like that. Okay, maybe I'm just terrible at writing prompts. Oh, I've exceeded my quota. I guess I need to actually log in, but we can see if that. Let's see.
B 学社
Okay, I think I actually
站正确
exceeded my quota before. Okay, get started for free. So you'll need to sign in, and then once you're signed in, you actually have kind of all these options in there as well. You have the sound effects, which are quite good. I think there were some. Well, sometimes they're quite good. I think there were some like So if you go like solutions, text to sound effects, I believe there were some like, there's like some funny sound effects, wind, train. And so, yeah, what's just pretty cool is that like, so these are like royalty free. Like when you generate them, you can use them in like your games, your videos and kind of such. Yeah, that sounds like a monkey. Okay. But now what we're actually here to talk about is conversational AI. So building kind of voice agents, building AI agents that speak. Are people familiar with kind of AI agents? Sort of the, who has used an AI agent before? Yes. Yeah, ChatGPT is very much an AI agent. So chatbots kind of, what? You all haven't used ChatGPT before? Okay, come on, show me some hands. All right. Okay, some people have heard of ChatGPT. Yeah, that's good. They recently opened an office in Singapore. If you've seen that, I've spoken at their Dev Day last year, which was nice. So yeah, AI agents, generally kind of systems that you can instruct that can, take certain actions, right? So if you've built kind of with some of these large language models, you might be familiar with kind of function calling, tool calling. So you can build really, really powerful systems with that. So the kind of voice agents sort of platform is basically just putting all these different technologies together. So basically, when we're kind of talking about conversational AI with ElevenLabs, what that means is we have this speech to text component. So the user, you for example, is saying something. So what we're doing then is we're using the automatic speech recognition to basically transcribe their speech into text. Then we're feeding that text into a large language model. So that could be, GPT-4o, Gemini 2.0 Flash, Claude 3.7 Sonnet, right? That's out now. So just any kind of large language model, that's basically your brain for your conversational AI agent. And then within sort of the large language model as well, you have kind of the function calling, the tool calling. And then at the end, you're basically getting text out again from the large language model. And so you then use the text to speech to basically translate that back into speech. Now, in order for that to feel like a natural conversation, you need to keep the latency very low. So basically, we've optimized this platform to kind of stream all these inputs and outputs. So basically, as you're speaking, it is transcribing in real time, basically feeding that stream into the LLM. And then as soon as the LLM basically starts streaming the response, we start streaming the text-to-speech response. And so by kind of, making that sort of a continuous stream, you get a fairly natural conversation flow. So one example of a conversational AI agent is actually right here on the website. So what we've done is, for example, in the docs, if you have a question, okay, how am I going to do this without audio feedback? We'll see.
Hey there, I'm Alexis from ElevenLabs Support. How can I help you today?
Hey, Alexis, can you navigate me to the RAG documentation for conversational AI?
Sure thing. By RAG, do you mean RAG, as in Retrieval Augmented Generation?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I can help with that. I'm going to redirect you to the Retrieval Augmented Generation documentation. It will open in a new tab.
Can you just redirect me on this page?
I understand that you would like to stay on this page. Unfortunately, I can only redirect you to a new tab. Would you still like me to redirect you to the Retrieval Augmented Generation documentation?
Yeah, can you redirect now, please?
I have redirected you to the Retrieval Augmented Generation documentation.
Oh, this is painful today. Jesus. All right, so obviously I haven't done my prayers to the demo gods. But yeah, so basically what you hear is kind of this conversational AI pipeline, us sort of speaking to the agent, the LLM basically understanding, okay, we want to get to this specific page in the documentation. And so basically in the background, it actually does exactly this RAG thing, which is kind of, what was it? What is RAG again? Retrieval Augmented Generation, yes. So it basically indexes all the content in the docs and makes that available to the agent to, find kind of the relevant context. So it can answer questions about this documentation, but then also it has a client tool to redirect you to this docs page. And so that is exactly what we saw kind of in our diagram here. So we had our conversation, and then the redirection is a client-side function call. So basically, we told the LLM that you have a tool here that you can call to redirect to a specific page on the website. And so basically, as you're instructing the agent to do that, that is happening in the background. Cool. Okay, should we go and build our own agents? Yeah, I think that's what we're here for. So let's do that. So if you go to the app, what you can do is, and actually one thing that's cool maybe that we can look at before, there's a pretty large library of voices. So actually my voice is in there as well. If you search for German engineer, I'm German originally. You can find my voice.
True success is doing what you are born to do and doing it well.
There we go. So in the future, I can just put my voice agent up here, and then I'll just chill. Well, that's a utopia we have, right? With AI just to do our jobs. But then what do we do, right? Good question. Anyway, we'll leave that for another session. But so what we want to do here is in the app, go to conversational AI. And then what you can do is here you go to the agents and you can create a new agent. So you can, there's a plus button here. There's a create an AI agent button there. So you can do that. There's a bunch of different templates you could choose from. And so maybe you want like a video game character, kind of, spot, maybe we use this one. Speak with, let me see. Speak with a mysterious wizard who offers ancient wisdom to aid you on your journey. I don't know if you remember this, but in the golden ages of computer games, there used to be phone hotlines that you could call with questions about when you're stuck in a game. And yeah, it's basically kind of that idea. So maybe we just do this NUS video game demo. And then we create the agent. And so what you can see here now is a bunch of configuration. Let's see, maybe that's a bit big. Okay, first of all, did everyone manage to get here? Like create the agent? Anyone stuck? No? Okay, that's good. Yeah, so for you, we're just kind of creating an account and then creating like a conversational AI agent. Cool. So there's a couple configuration options now. So you can choose kind of your agent language. There's a bunch of languages there. Yeah, there's Tamil as well. I think we have most of the Singapore languages in there. We got German. Actually, it's quite good. It's almost speaking better German now than me, which is good. And so you can set a specific language for the agent. You can also specify additional languages. You can, select kind of all the different languages. And so basically when later in your application, when you're initializing a conversational AI session, you can basically overwrite the language, depending on like the user's language, for example. You basically set a first message. So as you're kind of initiating the conversation, that is basically the first message that is going to be said. The system prompt is the prompt for the large language model. So basically here you put kind of, the instructions for the LLM to basically act as kind of the brain of that agent. So, if there's like certain tools that you want the agent to call, you would also ideally kind of put that in there. So if we're going through the docs, for example, you can look at, so first of all, there's like conversational AI as a separate tab here. And then you can see, knowledge base. So you can upload documents, you can put in URLs and kind of text. So, if you're building like a support agent, for example, you might want to put in, the documentation of the company or the product, what have you, that you want the agent to know. And then what's cool here, so basically the tools. So to give you an example, for example, we had an example of the client tool, which was, the redirecting back, sorry, these are the client events, the like redirecting, on the client side, like redirecting you to another page. So that's an example of a client tool that you can do there. Now, for server tools, it's, basically another way to get kind of up-to-date information. So one example here is if you're thinking about, so there's an example, for example, for booking events in like the calendar. So that is one example. Another one is you can give it a tool to get kind of the up-to-date weather, right? So the LLM itself wouldn't know what the weather is like right now in Singapore, right? But there are certain APIs that you can call to get weather information based on geolocation, right? Based on like the latitude, longitude. And so what you can do is you can, for example, do a weather tool, which will then make an API request to, is everyone familiar with kind of APIs and sort of getting information from APIs? Is that sort of, yeah? No? Okay, some people are, some people are not. So basically APIs, just a way to kind of access information from other systems. So it's a way to kind of connect different systems to each other. So here in this example, we have this Open Meteo API, which is basically a system that we can call to get real-time weather information. And so what we need to put in is the latitude and longitude. And so what we can do is in the system prompt, we can instruct the agent to basically ask for the location, right? So like say, okay, you know, what's the weather like in Singapore? And then the agent actually knows, like based on its training, sort of can translate Singapore into latitude, longitude. And we basically instruct it to, okay, call the get weather tool with the latitude and longitude. So as we're kind of setting up our configuration for this weather tool, we basically provide the latitude, longitude kind of dynamic variables that the agent should be injecting here. And then the agent can basically use this tool to get the up-to-date weather information and reply back with that. So that's one example here of a tool that we can put. Or yeah, here the system prompt, you can sort of prompt it in terms of like the character or the style, you know, if it should be like emphasizing, you know, talking very slowly, very quickly, or, you know, things like that, you can kind of instruct in here. You can also inject kind of dynamic variables. So for example, in your application, if you have information about the user, so you know the user's name, for example, you can inject that as, you know, a dynamic variable into like the first message, or you know, even the system prompt, like if you had some information, you can inject that in there. For the LLMs, so, you know, obviously there's a large amount of large language models out there now. We default to Gemini 2.0 Flash. It is just kind of the most, well, the most capable model and the cheapest. So if you're looking at, you know, we're in Singapore, we like good value, right? So it is the best value for money, so to speak, in terms of the LLM models. At the moment, very, you know, reliable in terms of function calling as well. So that's something you need to look for as well. Like if you're using function calling, tool calling in your application, to use a model that is kind of, you know, good reliability on calling. You know, the tools like in the example earlier where I had to like ask it multiple times to redirect me. I'm actually not sure which model. I think it's probably Gemini 2.0 Flash as well, but yeah, GPT 4.0 is good as well for tool calling. Claude 3.7 Sonnet, very good as well, but very expensive, that one. Or you can, for example, like put in a custom LLM as well. So if you're fine-tuning a model, you know, with like specific information about yeah, your business or your application, you can fine-tune a model, deploy that to like Google Cloud, for example, and then you can just put in OpenAI API compatible endpoints, and then basically, you know, yeah, can use kind of any LLM under the sun. The knowledge base, again, you can add documents, you can add yeah, text files, you can add PDFs, you can upload URLs. So when you put basically a URL in the background, it just scrapes the information from that website and puts that into the knowledge base. So you can do that. So for example, if, you know, say like, you know, Tetris, there's probably like a Wikipedia article about Tetris with like all the information, you know, about like Tetris and the history of it. So what we can do is, you know, we can take that, close that actually, and we can just add a document. We can say add a URL, put that in, and then now it's going off. It's scraping all that information from the Tetris website. And then we just need to make sure that we save the changes there. Yeah, we'll get to the tool calling kind of in a bit. But for now, what we can do, once we kind of set this up, we can say test agent. And then when we test the agent, we can just do that here.
Greetings, traveler. How can I assist you on your quest?
Tell me the history about Tetris.
Tetris was created in 1984 and 1985 by Alexei Payitnov, a Soviet software engineer. He was inspired by Pentomino.
Okay, you get the gist. So yeah, maybe we just take 5 minutes here for you to kind of play around with, you know, some of the configuration here. You know, you can change the first message, kind of update the system prompt, maybe choose kind of a different LLM and kind of see what that looks like, and then maybe just test out your agent, just kind of see that you get sort of all that configuration set up. And yeah, we'll just take 5 minutes to kind of do that. And ideally at the end of those 5 minutes, you've talked to your agent at least once. Okay, cool. Let's do that.
Would this be like a break?
This? No, I mean, this is like an exercise. Which, good question. So the question was, is there a limit of how long I can talk to the agent for? So the main limit is basically your wallet. So while it is definitely cheaper than OpenAI real time, it is still not cheap, I guess. So I mean, it's gotten a lot cheaper, and it'll keep getting cheaper and cheaper. But like if you're looking at so I think on the free account, okay, let me see, Conversational AI. So on the free account, you have 15 minutes per month.
There's not like a tab to see how many tokens you have used so far, or no?
Yeah, I think if you go to the dashboard, it does show you the total cost. And I believe that does that translate to, let me see. Yeah, so you have 15 minutes included. And then, yeah, there's no additional minutes. Yeah. So I think 15 minutes, I guess, then translates to 10,000 tokens, something like that. Or maybe it's actually separate to the tokens. No, it might actually be the 10K credits, right? Do you see your credits going down as you talk to your agent?
It's how much you have used.
Okay, how much you've used?
800.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I have a lot of credits, so yeah, what I can do, like after this I can give you all like a coupon, or just like apply credits to your accounts or something like that. I think we'll figure it out. I think the problem with the coupons is that in order to activate the coupon, you actually have to put down a credit card, which is not great, obviously. So yeah, I think maybe like if you give me a list of like everyone's accounts via email, I can like gift you some credits or something. Okay. Cool. So did everyone manage to talk to their agent? Maybe change the voice, something like that? No. So yeah, I don't know actually if I think I mentioned it earlier. There's like a voice library as well. And actually what's quite cool, you can also filter by language. So for example, when you say English, and then you can also say accent Singaporean, I believe somewhere. Swedish, wait, wasn't there? Ah, there. Singaporean. And so you can see some of the voices that were, I remember, I think Lillian was quite good.
Singapore is a country of contrasts, old and new, traditional and modern, fast-paced and peaceful.
Yeah, I think that's pretty Singaporean. Now the thing is that so these are actually voice clones. So someone, Singaporean probably, cloned their voice and made it available on the platform. Now, what they have done is they've enabled live moderation. Basically, what you can do is when you clone your voice and make it available, you actually get paid when someone uses your voice, right? So it's like a marketplace. But what you can do is you can basically enable live moderation to put in certain words that you don't want to be generated. Right? Like, so generally, swear words or kind of things like that, you can basically prevent that. Now, the thing is, if you enable live moderation, the voice can't be used for conversational AI because obviously the checking if the live moderation is being adhered to, like there's a delay to that. And so the latency of validating the moderation rules would be too slow for the conversational AI. So in that case, you can't use that language as a conversational AI agent, unfortunately. But if you're generating text for like a video or a podcast or something like that, you can use these voices, which is pretty cool. Sweet. Conversational AI. Yeah, there we are. So now what we can do is actually everyone like a computer science student or something, or like what are people studying? Yeah. Is it computer science or? Yes, CS. Cool. So then we can do some coding as well, right? Now, obviously, nowadays no one actually codes anymore, right? Like people just use like Lovable or what else do people use? V0? Have people what are people using here to build things nowadays? Just ChatGPT, straight up. Who's like using bolt.new? Lovable? Cursor? Is it all too expensive? V0? V0.dev?
Black box.
Is Blackbox another tool or?
Like complete.
Okay. I haven't heard of that one. Yeah, so the ones that I see most often is like Lovable, bolt.new. Bolt.new is pretty cool as well because it actually allows you to do like mobile apps. So like using React Native. So you can say like build a mobile app, that does something. And it uses Expo React Native to basically give you a mobile app, which is pretty nice. Lovable is really cool as well. Like some good styling and things people are building. Now, what can we do that like let's build something fun. Anyone, any ideas of like what we could do would be fun? So we want to build something where we can talk, right, to it, like a conversational agent, right? And then we want to implement some client tool to basically, as we say, like, do something, it does something, right? Anyone, any ideas? What could be cool? I mean, maybe we can go along in like the game. So like a voice-controlled game, voice-controlled Flappy Bird. That sounds terrible. But like what we could do is just like, just Hack Club is right, like a duck, right? That's pretty cool. Okay, so maybe we can do like just a little pixel game where you control a little duck, add controls for walking, directionally, maybe we'll do that, as well as jump. Okay, so we'll see how we get here. So v0.dev, I believe you can sign up for free as well, and we'll see how we get. So I mean, depending on the use cases, like some are like better at like making things look nice. So like we could for example do the same, like take the same prompt, and you know, again, this is also an agent. So generally like Lovable, let's see how that does. So we'll just give it the same prompt and just see how it compares. Oh, okay. Pixel Duck Adventure. I mean, that looks quite cute, right? Okay, so we can move right, left. Can we jump? So the jump doesn't really work. Okay, so the jump here is not working. So we can say jump doesn't work. Fix it. Maybe say please. You know, obviously you don't need to say please, but I like to think that when AI actually becomes AGI, right, that maybe they remember that I said please and they let me live. We'll see. Okay, let's see. Quack Quest Adventure. Okay, so Lovable is chugging along as well, which is nice. So looking at like velocity, looks like maybe the jump could work better here. We'll see. Oh, so did it fix it already? Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. See, the police is what did it. There we go. I like to think so. Okay, so yeah, so I think that works. We'll see what Lovable comes up with if we prefer that one. Is this work? Okay, this is spinning up preview. Which one did people choose? Are you doing in parallel as well? Little NUS duck game. Okay, use arrow keys, but I don't see any duck yet. Are we stuck? Uh-oh. Looks like v0 wins this round. Let's see. Where's the duck? Man. Let's see. Oh, maybe he's gonna go and create a duck man now. No, it's not visible. Okay, maybe we'll work with v0. Did anyone use Lovable and got like a working result? No?
Remember, if you engage, you might win some swag. Just saying. Right. Okay, maybe we'll continue here because I still can't see. Oh, maybe it's reloading now. Still no duck. Okay, what's happening? What's happening? This is not the vibe coding. This is not the vibe we want for our game. No errors. No errors, no duck. Okay. All right, I think in the interest of time, we'll give the win to V0 here and continue there. There we go. And then maybe what we can say is okay, let's try this. I don't know if it'll actually work, but so add a button that says talk to duck, which starts an ElevenLabs conversational AI session using the, so if you go to the docs, you can find that we have libraries for like Python, React, JavaScript. So like V0 generally uses Next.js, which is kind of a React based framework. And so we can say then we want to use this library. So let's see if that works. Using the React library from npm. Let's try that. Okay, so it looks like we're getting a new component, which is called duck chat. Oh, is this the vibe coding everyone talks about? Very interesting. So it's taken it from the CDN. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think it looks like it's not really doing so well on that front, but oh, there's a button that says fix. So we'll see if that does anything. Yeah, so I think it looks like it just doesn't have enough knowledge about like the conversational AI. So I think it might just do some wacky stuff there, which is not good. So we might actually need to do some okay. But yeah, use chat. 11 React. That looks correct. Okay, that's good. I think I might have gone down a rabbit hole. Yeah, I think okay. I think it went down a rabbit hole there. So we'll go back to which version was the one that worked with the jumping? Yeah, version 2. Okay, cool. So did everyone get sort of to something like this where it's like an simple pixel duck that can move, that can jump? Yeah? Not working? Ah, okay. No? Oh, that looks... Is there any duck or?
There is a duck, but rather than jumping, it's more like floating.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, this one's jumping, which is nice. So maybe what we'll do is so I mean generally I actually don't know, can you you can edit in here, but so generally what I do is basically I like start kind of from this, right? So we're at like version 2. And then I basically download the zip. So I basically use kind of this as like a starting point to like generate my application. And then I download it. So I have like documents, code, v0. And then I'll get my duck game in here. And then generally what I do is make this one smaller. And documents, code, v0. So we got my duck game. So unzip that. And then what we can do is, so I have my duck game here now. And so I'm just going to open that up in Cursor. Is that too small? Soon, get out of the way. Okay. Let me see, let me zoom in a bit more. And so what we can see is, I believe, yeah, it's just like a Next.js application. We can take a look maybe at the dependencies. So it's like using some like Radix UI. I don't know why it has any date functions in there. So that's the only problem with some of the stuff where it's like, okay, why is it doing that? Why is it having those dependencies? React Day Picker, that doesn't make any sense. But what we can do is we just install the dependencies. Do people use like Cursor or VS Code, or what do people like generally use? VS Code? Nice. Okay. And then we can just say, I'm trying to say dev, come on. Should be smart enough to understand that. And there we go. We got our Pixel Duck adventure still working. Oh, well, it worked once. Now the jumping is broken. I was able to jump once. Okay, what's happening? Jump. Oh, okay. Interesting. Now it's jumping again. But yeah, for some reason, it's getting stuck at like 1 pixel there. And then interesting. Okay. Well, I guess we're still quite far away from like fully autonomous coding. So you should be fine with your CS degree for a little while longer, hopefully. Okay. So what I want to do now is basically I want to talk to the duck. right? And so we can, no, that's not what we're, hey, stop. Hey, okay. So, zoom, go away, there. So what we can do now is because we're using React here, right? So we can take a look maybe at our app. We have a page here. The page has a component called pixel.game. And then we probably have some, we have position, set position. So left pressed. Oh, okay, so we have a game loop. Set direction. Okay, so it's very interesting. So set direction. Set direction left. What happens then? Oh, okay, so game loop. So I'm just trying to understand what it actually handled. Jumping, moved inside the game loop for better responsiveness. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so this is very rudimentary, interesting. So, okay, we have the up pressed is use key press. Okay, so up pressed. And then it clears the interval. So basically use key press. Up pressed. It's a Boolean. And so it's basically just setting these. So basically what I want to do is I want to implement like a client tool that like when I say jump actually makes it jump, right? So that's kind of the idea. So as a first step, let's do this. We want to install our React client library. So we can say, so I'm just using pnpm. So in that case, I say pnpm add the React library, and then we can use kind of this use conversation hook to basically set up kind of our conversation. So what we can do is we can just, I believe there's an example somewhere. Where was the example? Yeah, looks like we didn't link the example. Very nice. I'll need to see why the examples are gone. But we can just go to, so if we go to ElevenLabs examples, so on GitHub. So it's basically just github.com/ElevenLabs, ElevenLabs examples. We can go into examples, conversational AI, and then Next.js, and there is an example in there how we can do that. So okay, so we have our actually, didn't I install the, why is this one using the client instead of the React? This is not a great example. Okay, let's just follow along these docs. Sorry, this is a little bit. Okay, so we install the React here. Then we can use this conversation hook. So in here in our game, we'll just do use conversation. So we'll need to import use conversation from ElevenLabs React. So we'll say import. There we go. Cursor already gives me this. No, not hooks. What are you doing? Go. Okay. So this is from our React library. And then what we need to do is we need to get the navigator media devices get user media. So what we'll want is basically under this pixel duck adventure, we'll just add a button here. So I think just at the top of the pixel duck game, we'll add, oh no, but we have this on. Yes, that's good. I also don't understand. Okay. So maybe just here we'll add a button. So we'll get cursor, we can just say add button talk to duck. Okay, apply our button. Wait, why is it? Is it doing so many changes? Okay, we'll just add the button for now. We'll revert this. So we'll say, so we want to add a button in here. And for now, we'll just say, we'll just implement a method that we'll call start conversation. And so basically at the top, we'll need to create a function. And for now, we'll just console log button clicked. Or just starting conversation. Okay, so let's give that a read. We're not running. We need to run. Okay, so here we have a nice button which says talk to Doc, and then it says starting conversation. Okay, so that is working. So let's look at the docs again. So basically, after like our button click, we want to request the microphone access. So we'll do that in here. And since we're awaiting this, it needs to be an async method. And then we're getting our microphone access. And once we have use conversation, okay. Certain options on connect, on message, on error. Okay, and then what we need to do is, so I think in this, is this where we need to, yeah, so in our use conversation, we need to put in the agent ID. So in this case, if we have a public agent, we can just copy in this agent ID here. And then we don't need to perform any authentication. Now, when you're putting this into production, you want to create like a signed URL and, you know, actually secure that, because otherwise anyone who's got your agent ID could initiate a session with your agent. Okay, so conversation, and then once we have access to the media device, we can then call this start session. And yeah, that is pretty much, that should pretty much be the bare bones to start our session. And then maybe we just console log the conversation ID. So there's a bunch of event handlers. So if you know kind of in JavaScript, sort of functional programming, so you're having sort of events that are getting fired, and then you can implement event handlers. So for example, use like an onConnect, onDisconnect, onMessage. So what we can do is in this here, I believe we can specify the, onConnect. So onConnect is basically a method. And so basically once we're connecting, we can then say connected to the conversation. There's another, on message. And then basically what we can do is just, we can log out the message. On disconnect, we can do that as well. And so let's see with that if that works, and we can talk to our duck. Now, obviously, what we maybe can do is probably update our configuration here. So we'll say, hey, I'm the NUS Hackers duck. Does it have a name? Your mascot? No? And then what we can also do, maybe just to give you an idea of the like the dynamic variables we can inject. So like, hey, we'll put in the name. I'm the NUS Hackers duck. What do you want me to do? Okay, we'll do that. And then we'll need to put in a placeholder. So we'll just like say Peter as like the placeholder. So like when we're testing, right, and we're not putting that in. But so like in our application, then what we can do, we can provide some configuration here, which will be the dynamic variables. And we can, our dynamic variable, right, here is called, well, cool. Yeah, so let's get this just finished. So we'll say, you are a duck. You can move left and right. You can move left or right and jump. Use the tools available to move or jump. Okay, we'll just do that for now as our prompt, and then we'll add in the tools later. So we'll save that. Now, obviously, our voice is like this one.
Life without love is like a tree without blossoms or fruit. Life without love is like a tree without blossoms or fruit.
Which doesn't really sound like a duck just yet, right? So actually one other cool feature that I hadn't mentioned yet is this one here, the voice design. So you can actually generate a voice using a prompt, right? And so what you can say is, squeaky, do we want a squeaky? Yeah, why not? Squeaky little duck that's very excited to be playing games. Maybe just say that. And then we'll say generate voice. And we'll see. Oh no. Okay, I don't know if it's about playing games, if that's like okay, we'll leave it at a squeaky little duck that's very excited. Let's see if that works.
The night air carried whispers of betrayal, thick as London fog. I adjusted my cufflinks. After all, even spies must maintain appearance.
The night air carried whispers of betrayal, thick as...
The night air carried whispers of betrayal, thick as London fog. I adjusted my cufflinks. After all, even spies must... The night air carried whispers of betrayal.
Okay, what do you think?
The night air carried whispers of betrayal, thick as London fog. I adjusted my cufflinks.
Great. So we'll call this not Old British Man, NUS duck. There we go, NUS hackers, right? Hackers duck. We'll just say English. Okay, we'll save this voice. And so now we've generated that voice, we can actually use that in our agent. So we'll go back to our agent, to the voice, and we'll say NUS hackers duck. Okay, we'll save that. And okay, cool. And now we'll see in our app. I have all the stuff there. So if we reload this, and now we say talk to duck, we'll guess. We'll need to, oh, this is good, actually. We have an error in the docs. So this actually needs to be, I believe, audio. Audio true. Okay. This is good. We're learning a lot. There we go. Talk to duck. And so you now see we want to access the microphone. Okay. And there's an error. Disconnected. Let me see. Okay. I believe we need to allow this message system. No. Dynamic. Do we need to enable the dynamic variables? Did we put in the username? Let me see. There we are. Yes. We forgot about this one. So this needs to be username, and then, obviously you can get that dynamically from like, the user who's logged in, or like ask them in the form, like what's their name. I'll just put in Thor. Give that a save. Okay, let's try this again. Let's talk to our duck.
Hey Thor, I'm the NUS Hacker's duck. What do you want me to do?
Can you jump?
Yes, I can jump. Would you like me to jump?
Yes, please jump.
Okay, I'll jump. Duck jumps. Is there anything else I can do for you?
So we haven't implemented the stopping of the conversation. Now, why didn't it jump? Yes, you have to tell it how it can jump, right? So how can we do this? How can we enable the conversational AI agent to actually make the duck jump? Yeah, we'll need to update the system prompt, but what else do we need? Which one? Sort of, yeah. We call it like client tools, right? So earlier we said like we can provide some client tools to allow the duck to jump. And so we'll need to provide a client tool. So in the documentation, you remember here we had the client tools, right? And basically we need to create that client tool, and then we need to implement the client tool in our application. So what we will do is in here in our settings, we scroll down to the tools here. We'll say add tool, a custom tool, and then we'll say a client tool here, okay? So we'll call this one, I guess we'll just jump, right? And we'll say use this tool. So basically this is the description for the LLM to know how to use this tool. So we're basically saying, okay, use this tool to make the duck jump. Call this when the user asks the duck to jump, okay? In this case, I mean, we can say, yeah, wait for response. So, normally you would do that if you're like requesting information, right? Or like, so like, remember the weather tool, right? We need to actually wait for the weather response to come back, and then the LLM to interpret that response to then render out the message. So in our case, like with the jump, we'll just give like a success. And so we'll add this tool. So now we need to save. Did we call this Peter already? Okay. So you're a duck, yada, yada, yada. And now you can see we have this client tool that's called jump. So this is the first part. This is how we tell the LLM that there is a tool to make a jump. Now, the other part is that we need to implement this because it's a client tool in our front end on our client side. So what we can do here is, I believe, we have this client tools, and we basically pass it an array. Is that correct? We might need to look at the docs. For some reason, only the Python docs are here, which is a bit annoying because I definitely remember there being other results. Okay, very strange. But yeah, I think we just pass it as client tools. Let's see. We'll pass it as, I believe. Oh, no, I think we need to pass it actually as an object. And then our tool was called jump. So we'll say jump. And then we just pass in a function, basically. And for now, we'll just say jumping. Now, in order for it to actually jump, I believe it was like, how was the jump? Anyone remember how the jumping was? Is jumping? Okay, set is jumping true. And then once it is back, set is jumping false. So in a way, I mean, technically we just need to set the up pressed to true. So let's see if we'll make this a lash, and then we'll just set so in our client tool, where was our client tool? Up here. Okay. So in our client tool, I think we can up pressed, but we probably need to define it further up. So but then we're okay. No, let's do this differently. So we'll have a state and we'll just call this we'll just call it conf jump. Set conf jump. And we'll just make that a Boolean. False. Yeah, cool. Like this. And then basically when the jump tool is called, we'll say set conf jump to true. And then we just need to check where like the up pressed, we'll leave that here. But basically, so we're checking like up pressed. So what we can do is say like either, you know, up was pressed, or, you know, conf jump, right? Then we want to jump up, and then lastly, we just need to clear pass that one in here. Okay, and then I think when like, yeah, I think we want to do that. Well, let's do, so if it's jumping. Set conf jump. Okay, maybe something like this. Okay, let's see. Maybe it's getting too late and we need to eat. But so basically the idea is that like when the tool call is called, we want to initiate some action that actually makes our duck jump, right? So let's give that a go. Let's see. And then we want to return. Right, we said we're waiting for a response, and we'll just say success for now, right? We'll just return back, okay, success, we've jumped. Cool. Okay, let's see if this works. And I mean, if it does, we'll be very surprised because a lot of things went wrong today. So let's try this out. Anyone betting on whether it'll work or not? So let's see that this one works. Okay, it does. So now.
Hey, Thor! I'm the NUS Hacker's duck. What do you want me to do?
What can you do?
I'm the NUS Hacker's duck. I can move left and right, and I can jump. What do you need me to do?
Can you jump right now, please?
Okay, I just jumped. Anything else I can do for you?
Well, you're gonna come on. First try.
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Who's impressed? I'm very impressed. Didn't think I had it in me. Okay, I think quite a lot has happened here, and maybe we'll take a break. But yeah, any questions like on sort of this concept of, you know, kind of agentic platforms? You know, obviously there's a bunch of things that sort of play together. You have your system prompt, you have your tools, your large language model. Basically, in order, you know, for your large language model to be able to call these client tools, it needs to support function calling as well as structured outputs. You kind of might have heard that in terms of functionality. So like, you know, if you have kind of tool calling in your application, you need to choose an LLM that supports function calling and structured outputs. Yeah, but yeah, maybe let's pause here.